Okay, so we should be good to go. We should be live. I don't see it on YouTube yet, though.
Yep, it's there.
We're good?
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
All right, how you feeling? You good?
Good, dude.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Hell yes, dear listener. The HSP boys are back in the saddle once again for episode number 105. Thank you so much for saddling up with us. 2 separate continents, 2 separate countries, 2 separate adult beverages just to make it fair, and 2 separate cups of coffee fee. 2 separate fact shamings, 2 separate mansplainings, 2 separate trails to the same inevitable conclusion. 105, dear listener, 105 is a triangular number. It is the product of 3 consecutive prime numbers. 3 times 5 times 7 is 105. Don't believe me? Check it out. But none of this really matters, dear listener. And why is that? Because the trail grows longer each and every single week. And 105 means that we have 105 miles to ride on this trail right here, right now. So let's not tarry. Let's saddle up and ride into episode number 105, which is in the house presently. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at Zero Gravity Med. Send us feedback at zero-gravity-media.com. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Podbean. Nope, Podbean's dead. All 4 under Zero Gravity Media. Find us on YouTube. Look for Zero Gravity Media and our God tier Zero G logo. Leave us some feedback using the contact form at our website, zero-gravity-media.com/contact. Each week, Luke and I like to call out one city. And this city, the magic of this city, is the city with the most HSP listens during the previous week. So without any further ado, the city with the most HSP listens during the previous week is... All right, dear listener, straight back up to the front of this posse once again, Ponca City, Oklahoma. Ponca City, we've been forlorn without you. Welcome back. It's comforting to have you back on the trail. Hope you had a magnificent Thanksgiving, and thank you so much, Ponca City, as always. So there we go, Luke.
All right, dude.
Yeah.
How's your week?
It was great, man. Thanksgiving was lovely. Everything was lovely. It was just a fantastic week. Got a Christmas tree put up in the crib. Got some Christmas lights that I'm trying to figure out how to deal with, man. I'm not as creative as you and Jessica, right? And so I'm getting comfy, man. I am cold right now, though, brother. It's cold up in the house. And so...
You don't have your heater on or what?
No, I have not turned the heater on all of November. I refuse. So I'm just going to freeze this out, man. So
why is that?
Saving paper, man. We got investments to make in Zero Gravity Media. So I'm going to save that paper, buy Christmas presents, that type of thing. So...
Yeah. All right, dude.
Yeah. And speaking of, dear listeners, some changes are coming. All right, we're going to stay with this live streaming format. It's working, okay? We're going to get back on podcast format ASAP. You believe that? But we are going to be making some upgrades to our system, and it is going to be good for you, for Luke, for me, for all of us, dear listener. Promise that. That it's going to be good, but it's a big step that we're going to take. It's a big step.
Yeah.
So,
we've been blowing it up on YouTube lately.
Yeah, we've been doing all right, doing all right. So, yeah. And dear listener, we're going to get back in audio format too. We know you miss that. Our dulcet tones. We know that you miss it, and we'll get back ASAP. It's just, dear listener, Luke and I do this and maintain full-time gigs. It just takes a lot of time. That's it. It's we're not to the point where we can do this full-time yet. We will be within a year, I think, Luke, within a year. So
yeah.
The bold statement, I know, but
I mean, this change just really eliminates a lot of work for us.
It does. Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm.
Looking to see maybe I'm looking at the last show, which we had like a lot of listens on the last show. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to see if maybe I can see in the analytics, like where because we're still pulling for the shout out, the single city shout out. We're still pulling from from the yeah, here we go. Here's analytics from SoundCloud. So
that's correct. Yeah. So this is in the past, dear listener. It's in the past. And yeah. Analytic.
Yeah, it doesn't say. It doesn't give me geographic territory.
Yeah, that's my experience as well. Yeah, but
we I am looking at 56% of, or 57 really percent of the people who watched the last show were not subscribed to the channel. So that's new riders on the trail.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
So, all right, dude. Well, let's get started, man. Now that we got the housekeeping out of the way and Podbean's gone, Russ has had it. Actually, we should mention this. Russ has had it out for Podbean for like 2 years. He's loathed and hated Podbean, and I never could understand why. Understand why, I should say. But
yeah. It just seems that, other rival shows do very well on Podbean, and we never did, and so it was fun while it lasted, Podbean. Thank you so much. Really. Thank you to Podbean. They thanked me as I left the platform just a minute ago, Luke. And
okay. Well, that was nice of them.
Thank you to Podbean. Yeah, mean it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's expensive too. It's like $300 a year.
350.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, long. That's history. That chapter's closed.
Yep.
So
moving on, dear listener, riding on. So
yeah. All right, dude. Well, let's just jump into it. Kraken.
Okay. All right. Kraken Released. It is indeed, dear listener. Sidney Powell dropped the lawsuit the day before Thanksgiving this week. Read it. It's 104 pages. It takes about an hour to get through. It is worth every second of your time. Read it. There are so many noteworthy things in the lawsuit, Luke. I have not read the Michigan lawsuit, which she dropped later in the day. It's a little bit lighter. It's about 78 pages, I think. But the Georgia lawsuit is astonishing on a number of levels.
Yeah, I would totally agree. But what specifically causes you to say that?
In the lawsuit, okay. Dear listener, remember the night of the election when Georgia said, "Oh my God," at the State Farm Arena where they were counting ballots. "Oh my God, we got a water leak. The water main broke. We have to vacate. Well, they shut down the counting there in Georgia and they fled. Okay, except the counting didn't stop, dear listener. And then the next morning, Joe Biden was up by 20,000 ballots when Donald Trump was leading by a very big margin. Okay, fraud. Absolute fraud. This is one plank of the case. Okay. Dear listener, on Owen Schroyer's show on InfoWars, the day after the election, 2 days after the election, he had as his guest Steve Pieczenik. Okay. Now, Steve Pieczenik is a former intelligence operative, right? A lot of people think Steve Pieczenik is Q. He's not Q. Okay. He brought the issue up the day after the election of like, bro, these ballots have been watermarked. Okay. We just ensnared everybody. Okay. Well, everybody's like, conspiracy theory. Oh my God. No, dear listener, conspiracy, fact. The watermark story is true. Go read it in Sidney Powell's lawsuit. It's there. And so what we have, dear listener, is a situation where many ballots can immediately be discarded. Okay. Now, we're not getting any help from the courts right now because, as we've said, the courts are in on the steal. They're in on it. Okay. As is the media, as is everything, right? The whole corrupt establishment. Okay. Steve Bannon was very black-pilled about this yesterday on the War Room because things aren't happening fast enough. You know what? He's right. We're going to need some help. Okay. But in this lawsuit, we have very objective evidence of ballot fraud. This is great, dear listener. Now it's got to go to a court, and the court has to rule, yeah, okay, these ballots are fraudulent because they don't have the watermark. This was also done in California. I can prove that. I don't know about Michigan yet because I've not read the Michigan lawsuit. But, dear listener, this is not conspiracy theory, right? The ballots that went out in Georgia were watermarked. And if they don't have that watermark, they're fraudulent, completely fraudulent. So right there in Sidney Powell's lawsuit. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Did you see where the ballots are coming from? Like who's producing these?
No, did you? I did not.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm pulling up the video right now.
Huh. No, that got past me. I didn't see this.
Dude, it's about to blow your mind.
Okay.
Let me see. I think there's we're still de-boomering over here, dear listener. So I think I can share a screen, maybe. Yeah, here we go.
All right, bring it.
Yeah, here we go.
All
right, man. Look at us over here, Russ.
Yeah, fancy.
Here we go, dude. You ready for this?
Yes, indeed, sir.
Can you hear the audio?
No, I cannot.
It doesn't matter. You don't understand it anyways.
Okay, well. Oh my God, exactly what they're talking about is in the Sidney Powell lawsuit as well. Holy shit. Okay. China.
Dude, basically what that was, dear listener, it was a video of a guy who was on the phone, two Chinese guys, one of them presumably inside the United States somewhere, and he's ordering a large amount of ballots, is what he said. He said, we're going to need a large amount. They talk money, payments. He talks about how the watermarking and the ink and the paper is different. And he's talking about international courier being mailed to the States. So yeah, dude, what happened is they went to the Chinese and got presumably hundreds of thousands of ballots printed in China and then shipped to the United States. And I'm convinced that these ones that are not watermarked or not watermarked correctly, also the ones that arrived pristine, unfolded, as if they'd never been put into an envelope, I'm convinced all of those ballots were printed in China and brought to the United States.
Yep. Hashtag me too. There is testimony in Sidney Powell's lawsuit about ballots with different consistency of paper and different color of ink as well, right?
Yeah.
So, dear listener, once again, China can't ever really copy the United States.
Yeah. They can't even make paper correctly.
Right. That's explosive stuff, man. That's really stuff. Well, there you have it. That better be in Sidney Powell's lawsuit. And dear listener, I take exception with Steve Bannon on this. He calls Sidney Powell the free option, and I'm not even sure what he means by that. Right? No, that's the real deal. Just every bit as much as the Giuliani lawsuits are. Okay, so.
Did you hear the Lynn Wood video interview?
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that put some wind in my sails. That's for sure.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Should we play that?
Yeah.
We should play that at this point because he's working with Sidney Powell.
Yeah, he is.
The state of Georgia.
Yeah, he is. It's two separate lawsuits, dear listener, but it is Lynn Wood's lawsuit is a simple constitutional question, and Sidney Powell's is complex. That essentially is the difference, right?
Yeah, hers is comprehensive, whereas his is isolated.
Yep. Oh, damn it.
And for those of you, while you're doing that, Russ, for those of you who don't know who Lynn Wood is, Lynn Wood was the famous attorney. I believe he was the DA and prosecutor of the Atlanta bomber.
Yes, he was. Yes.
That's, I think, where he kind of got his come up, was with prosecuting the Atlanta terrorist attack. And then much later, he would go on to sue CNN and WAPO and all these other represent the Covington kids. I'll just say that. And all these defamation lawsuits, which he won against CNN. So I think they sued for like $250 million against CNN, and they settled for some amount, which I would imagine probably being 40, 50, 60, 70 million, something like that.
Sorry about that.
That exact amount was never made public, but that's who Lynn Wood is. So he's slash our guy. And he has a track record of proven success.
Yeah, he does. Luke, I get in danger sharing my screen. I dear listener, I need to deboomer a little bit. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. But I have the audio here. Do you want to hear this real fast?
Yeah, just the audio is good. I didn't see the video. I just saw the audio, or heard the audio this week as well. But this puts some, I was feeling pretty pill of colored. And then when I heard this, it put some wind in my sails big time.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Without the use of discernment. So they'll understand more than what just they see at first glance. So the Supreme Court's being aligned. The Department of Defense was recently realigned by the president. Take a look at who he put in place. Cyber terrorism and a terrorism expert.
Correct.
As I said, look at what he did in 2018 with the executive order to deal with foreign interference in our national elections. I think that, listen, in a perfect world, I'd like to see John Durham's report come out and people go to jail. I'd like to see the truth told about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and I'd like for a lot of people to go to jail. I'd like to see what's on Hunter Biden's laptop. I'd like to see those people go to jail. I'd like to see what's on Anthony Weiner's laptop. I'd like to see a lot of people go to jail. And then when we get to the final phase of the election fraud, I'd like to see a lot more people go to jail. The one thing I will say, there'll be an intermingling. There'll be people going to jail, I believe, who are involved in all of those or some of those same investigations. So there is potentially a great awakening. The truth has to come out.
Yes.
I believe it will. I do not think that you can hide the truth. I do say it and I believe it. Every lie will be revealed. This country is going to be shocked when it learns the truth about who's been occupying the Oval Office for some periods of years. They're going to be shocked at the level of pedophilia. They're going to be shocked at what I believe will be a revelation in terms of people who actually engage in satanic worship.
Damn.
Jeez, that's not the interview I heard. I was talking about the Janine Pirro interview.
Oh, last night? Did it happen last night?
I don't know. I'll post it in the video chat for other.
All right.
I like this format because like when we're sharing links and stuff, I can share it in the chat, and then it's like we're sourcing our material. It's really great.
Yeah, it is.
It's 7 minutes. We probably don't need to play the whole thing, but some amount of it we'll listen to it until we're white pilled, and then
okay.
Yeah. This is a group therapy session, dear listener.
Yeah, right. Shit, I can't post in the chat. This sucks. Well, all right. Anyway.
But the link to the Janine Pirro interview is in the chat.
Yeah.
You want to grab it? You got it?
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to play it?
Sure, if you want, or I can play it too. But I don't know that my audio. I don't think it grabs my audio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unless I, well, I don't even if I screen share, I don't know if it grabs the audio. I hope that wasn't just silence on the stream.
Huh. Yeah. Deboering for just a sec, dear listener. Thank you for your patience. All right. Here we go.
My next guest is someone who is one of the most brilliant legal minds in the individual who was a minority when it turned out to be just the opposite. Lynn
Can you
Wood,
hear it, Luke?
representing him and getting successful verdicts against the CNN and the Washington Post. and I suspect that the rest of the media will fold as he continues with that lawsuit. But right now, Lynn has filed a case in the state of Georgia where he is a resident. Lynn, are you with us this morning?
I am with you, Judge Janine. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for being with us. I know how busy you are, and we very much appreciate your time. Now, you made a decision individually to sue as a resident of Georgia and as an elector, and the basis of your lawsuit had to do with I understand the Secretary of State not having the legal authority, certainly not the constitutional authority, to change the election law to allow for mail-in ballots.
Right.
Am I wrong?
Right.
No, as usual, Judge Janine, you're right. That's the essence of our case. The Secretary of State's agreement with the Democratic Party in March of this year was not approved by, was not made by the state legislature. That violates the laws applicable to a federal election in a state. It can't be done. The election in Georgia was unlawful. They're going to have a do-over, not for the presidency. That can be decided by the Electoral College, selected by the legislature, but there's going to have to be a new down-ballot vote in January. We're going to have a legal election before this election cycle is over. We haven't had one in Georgia yet.
All right. So what, of course, you're referencing is the historic election about to take place in January, where Loeffler and Perdue are now fighting for their seats in the Senate, which, of course, will tip the scales in this country forever if the Democrats are able to take those two seats. But let's talk about President Trump. And the whole idea, my listeners have been calling and asking about what is there enough time and what would it look like to get any of these cases where judges and secretaries of states have violated Article 1, Section 4 of the Constitution and changed the election law on their own. Will that, Lynn, ever get to the United States Supreme Court?
Yes. In fact, the judge in my case denied a motion for a temporary injunction with respect to the recount. We're going to be filing a notice of appeal on Monday to the 11th Circuit. The recount was unlawful because it was based on an unlawful vote on November the 3rd. So the issue in my case is going to find its way to the 11th Circuit by notice of appeal on Monday. So we're going to get the Supreme Court at some point in the next, I believe, several days to address this issue via the 11th Circuit. So we've got the legal mechanism in place. But let me say this, Judge Janine. This election is not going to be decided by the courts necessarily. It's not going to be decided by the legislatures necessarily. Everybody's got a role to play. This election is going to be decided by we the people. We the people voted probably in the neighborhood of 80 million votes for Donald Trump. Probably in the neighborhood of 410 electoral votes. We the people are going to take action, and we the people are going to make sure that the president that we elected is sworn in on January 20th. That's going to be Donald J. Trump.
All right. And of course, talking to Lynn.
That's probably good enough for us.
Attorney,
all right, yeah,
from Atlanta, Georgia. But Lynn, how does that happen?
There we go. Yeah. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I just got a funny meme. Check out the stream.
Huh?
All right, dear listeners. So this is something else now that we are, since we're all high tech over here now, I get to share all the memes that I send Russ during the show with you as well.
We were going to charge you for that, dear listener, to get into our Discord channel, right?
Yeah.
You get it for free. Now you get it for free. So,
so this one is a picture of Joe, a random act of kindness. Softly kiss the postman's fingers when he puts them through your door to let them know that you are thankful for his gifts. And then it's a picture of Biden kissing the fingers of a postman putting mail through the door.
It reminds me of when he sucked his wife's finger. You remember that?
God, dude. Yeah.
Weird as shit, man. That was just weird.
He is so weird, man.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Let's white pill for a second. If there's something for which to be excited, if Joe Biden ends up the president in January, it's going to be 4 years of this sort of shit happening.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Gaff after gaff after gaff.
Oh, it's gonna get worse because he's in cognitive decline. If you think it's bad now, just wait till he's got a couple more years to age.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, there's this thing about how different presidents look when they go into office versus when they come out of office 8 years later, assuming they get reelected. It's like Biden's old enough at this point; he's just going to look the exact same.
The same.
It's just his ability to speak is going to be what's far different.
Yeah. Yeah, I've thought the same, man. He won't age a day in the office. So, yeah. And in the office, dear listener, it does tend to take a number on individuals. It does. Look
at like before and after pictures of Clinton and Bush, and especially like Obama, because he went in so young. He looked totally different.
He did. Yeah. Dang.
Amazing what 8 years can do. Although I don't think I'm definitely not in as good physical shape as I was 8 years ago, but that's because of shoulder injuries from which I'm still recovering. But and the damn gym's being closed, I was like on track to get back to that, but I just can't work out at home, and it's too damn cold here. It's like 30 degrees during the day now. So I just haven't been exercising. But I think beyond that, I don't know. I think I'm doing pretty well for 36.
Yeah, man. I do too. So yeah,
my hairline stopped receding, so that's good.
Well, that is good. That is good.
That was totally stress related.
Really?
As soon as I got out of a career path I hated, my hair stopped receding, like straight up. In fact, it came back a little bit even.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's good.
Important information for dear listener. I know. Breaking news. Luke's hairline stopped receding.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. So, yeah.
And you got your hipster barista scarf again this week, man. You're even wearing the dark colors and everything, dude.
Yeah, and I'm in chiaroscuro here on camera. That's a film nerd term. Don't worry about it, dear listener. And yeah, I'm film noir today.
What is okay, film noir.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So are you doing this no heater thing because like I personally think it's more that you just like to live the Spartan lifestyle?
Yeah, it is actually. That's the honest truth. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the honest truth. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You like the challenge.
Yeah. And excuse me, dear listener, I do it in the summer as well, So yeah, man. Yeah, I like the Spartan lifestyle. So yeah.
Well, what else we got, dude? We're 27 minutes in, so we got to start scraping for some good content.
Dear listener, okay, I want to read to you a piece, okay? This is part of Sidney Powell's lawsuit. This gentleman has just signed on to be a part of her team. I've got an American Thinker piece here. It broke yesterday, okay? I read his entire 9-page affidavit. It is worth every bit of looking at it. The title of the piece on American Thinker by Andrea Widberg is "The Smartest Man in the Room Has Joined Sidney Powell's Team." I'm going to take it from the lead. It goes thus. In her Georgia complaint, Sidney Powell included the declaration of Navid Kavarsh-Nia, an expert witness who stated under oath that there was massive computer fraud in the 2020 election, all of it intended to secure a victory for Joe Biden. Dr. Kavarsh, I'm just going to leave it there.
Dr. K.
Dr. K's name may not mean a lot to you, but it's one of the weightiest names in the world when it comes to sniffing out cybersecurity problems. Okay.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Joe Biden's an expert at that. It's sniffing out cybersecurity problems.
Indeed. So what does the brilliant Dr. K. Nia have to say? This, number one, Hammer and Scorecard, the software that is used on the Dominion voting systems, dear listener. Hammer and Scorecard is real, not a hoax, and both are used to manipulate election outcomes. Number two, Dominion, ES&S, Seidel, and Smartmatic are all vulnerable to fraud and vote manipulation, and the mainstream media reported on these vulnerabilities in the past. Number three, Dominion has been used in other countries to forge election results. In quotes, forge election results. Number 4, Dominion's corporate structure is deliberately confusing to hide relationships with Venezuela, China, and Cuba. I've got to intervene right here. That is American Thinker. That's not exactly what it is that Dr. K. Nia is saying here. What he's saying is that it is intentionally opaque so as to avoid legal discovery, okay? Not only to hide the involvement of China, Venezuela, and Cuba hacking the election, it is also intentionally vague to obscure discovery, obscure legal discovery. And this is validated by the fact that Sidney Powell has literally said on Lou Dobbs, we don't know who the hell owns Dominion. We have no idea. There's no way we can find that out. So Dr. K. Nia seems to be correct in that assessment. Number 5, Dominion machines are easily hackable. Number 6, Dominion memory cards with cryptographic key access to the systems were stolen in 2019. This is exactly correct, dear listener. They were stolen in Philadelphia, nonetheless. You have one of those USB keys. You have access to the entire Dominion voting system. Now, this leads to another interesting thing, dear listener. It is this. In Sidney Powell's lawsuit, how do I explain this? The Constitution prescribes that every state runs their own elections and runs the presidential election. Shayna, Luke, and I had a spirited debate about this in episode number 101 going into the election, right? About federal election standards. Okay. There is a hint in Sidney Powell's lawsuit that she is going to argue that because of Dominion voting systems being deployed across numerous states, that states cannot run their own elections. Stop and think about this, dear listener. There already is a multi-state election system in place from a private vendor called Dominion Voting Systems. All right. Now, she doesn't argue that in the lawsuit. Again, this is just a hint that I read in the lawsuit. Read it for yourself. Tell me what you think. All right. Although he had no access to the machines, Dr. K has looked at the available data about election and the vote results. Based on that information, he concluded, number 1, the counts in the disputed states, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia, show electronic manipulation. Number 2, the simultaneous decision in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia to pretend to halt election counting is unprecedented and demonstrated a coordinated effort to collude toward desired results. Dear listener, he does say that. That is explosive. That is exactly what Sidney Powell is going to argue in her lawsuit. Steve Bannon, listen, I love you so much, bro, but Sidney Powell is no free option here, okay? This is an expensive option.
Yeah.
Frankly, this is expensive.
Yeah.
There are 6 more points here, Luke. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to skip over it because I've been talking too long. But dear listener, this guy is legit, and he has a 9-page affidavit, and American Thinker did a great job of summing it up, but they missed some of the nuance of what Dr. K. Nia is arguing, okay? Go read it. Luke, I'm going to send you this link. And
I'll post it in the chat.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm getting an echo all of a sudden.
Really? For me?
Yeah. I'm hearing myself talk.
Oh,
not anymore. No, we're good. We're good now. Yeah.
All right. Great again. All right. I'll find it you. And yeah, see, I copied and pasted it because it was a PDF, so I had to copy and paste it into.
I see.
Is this it? No, that's not it.
You know what's messed up, man? It's like, have you ever looked up the definition of dominion?
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
It's the power or right of governing and controlling sovereign authority, rule, control, domination, a territory usually of considerable size in which a single rulership holds sway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what they named their voting system.
Yeah. Yeah. It's creepy. It's creepy,
isn't
at
it?
least, you know?
I mean, dude, I've been thinking about it. I wouldn't be opposed to like having, like, you know, if the purpose of the federal government is to protect the rights of citizens, that includes the right to vote. I wouldn't be opposed to like having the National Guard monitor or even operate the election.
Yeah. Yeah.
At this point, I'm like, that's the only way I can think that it can be done securely. It's like involving the National Guard.
Yeah, I agree. Excuse me, dear listener. Sorry about that. Yeah, I agree. And that's a very unfortunate fact.
I know, totally.
But
this is where we are.
Yeah, it's where we are. Yeah. Oh, let me just use Google Foo on this. Nah, it's blocked. So
dude, don't worry about it. Let's just move on.
All right.
You can send it to me later, post it in the chat later.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So yeah. And dear listener, there is another piece that I want to highlight. It dropped on the Federalist 2 days ago. Okay. 5 more ways Joe Biden magically outperformed election norms. I'm just going to list the bullet points. Number 1, 80 million votes. Did he really get 12 million more votes than Barack Hussein Obama ever got? It is unimaginable.
At the height of Obama's popularity.
Yeah.
People are more excited. 12 million more people are excited about Biden than Obama at the height of Obama's popularity.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Exactly. When Biden didn't even bother to take the time to campaign.
He didn't campaign.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the first time in the history of this country. That's how like brazen they've become. They're like, we don't, yeah, whatever. You know, we're going to lose this. We know we have to cheat our way through, so we may as well just not even bother with campaigning.
It's insane. Yeah, it's crazy to think about, but that is what they did. It has been argued to me by a friend of ours, right? Well, that was good strategy because what they were doing was making the election about Donald Trump. No, bro. No. You don't hide in a basement for 6 months in a presidential election. I'm sorry.
No.
That does not compute.
Anybody that tries to levy these kinds of arguments with me, I'm just like, okay, I'll tell you. Why don't you name me a single campaign platform policy of Joe Biden? Name one, any one.
Yeah.
And no, you can't just say environmentalism. No, I want like a concrete, like this is his platform. This is something concrete, which he has announced as being part of his platform. Name me one. You can't.
Yeah.
And, you know, honestly, the same thing, like, I think this really got underway with Hillary. Because that's what I was saying this back in 2016. I was saying to people, like, name me anything that Hillary stands for. She doesn't even have a platform. Nobody even knows what her platform is. I mean, but she was at least campaigning, you know? So
she was, I mean, you know, falling like a slab of beef and being thrown into a limousine half the time, but she was at least out there.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
By the way, I'm seeing on Twitter that Governor Whitmer is getting impeached with a 4-2 vote.
Whoa. Huh.
That's the governor of Michigan, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So they're impeaching her.
Yeah. All right, bro. Coming at you via Discord. Because Luke and I do still have our private Discord, dear listener. I just found
our private chat.
Yeah, we do. That is the link to Dr. Naveed K-Nia. Sorry, Dr. Naveed. Sorry about this. We'll just call him Dr. Naveed from here on out.
I like Dr. K.
Yeah, Dr. K. All right, that works. Yeah. Sucks that I can't post comments, man. It really does.
I mean, you could do it like directly in the live stream in YouTube.
That's true. I could. I'm actually not on YouTube right now. I just verified that we were live, and then I'm out, you know, to kind of
not even watching our own live stream.
Yeah. Well,
we need all those. You know, if you jump in the stream, then you double our viewership. So
right. Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, we don't have. We're not like crazy popular or anything, dear listener. But I mean, we crushed it last week. But
we did all right.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're impeaching Governor Whitmer. I mean, everybody knows what that means. So it's just an accusation. It doesn't mean she's getting removed. But all impeach means is accuse.
Yeah. Is it about the lockdown restrictions?
Yeah, they're impeaching her over lockdown restrictions.
Well, she has been draconian about it, and she has allowed her husband and herself privileges that nobody else in the state of Michigan, no Michiganders get.
All of them are.
Yeah.
And Newsom, like going to the French Laundry for his birthday.
Yeah.
No masks. There was actually turned out it was 22 people there. And they were laughing about it later, apparently.
Did you hear how much the wine bill was for that?
Oh, it was like
$15,000, dude.
Yeah. I couldn't remember the exact number, but yeah.
Yeah. God. Wow.
I mean, I'm not surprised. It's French Laundry, but
I know. I never went there, man. That's way too rich for my blood, man. You know. So, but I always heard of it. You know.
So John Nelson in the chat says, I do think it's reasonable that many people turned out to vote against Donald Trump. It's in human nature to rally against something. Sometimes rallying against something is more unifying than rallying people for something. I totally accept the premise that a lot of people turned out to vote against Trump.
Sure.
But as we've seen in the past, especially with the right, the right has been losing since the early 20th century, precisely because they've only ever been against things. They've never offered for anything. The offering a positive, and I've talked about this on previous shows, and when I say positive, I mean a presence, something, asserting something, not negating something. So I don't mean it's positive in the sense that it's positive good. I just mean it's positively exists, right? They're just offering something. Offering a positive always wins out over offering a negative. And we've seen this with Trump in 2016, because he was like, we're going to make America great again. That's what I am offering. And then there's, a platform around that. And he was, unlike the past presidents, offering a positive.
Well, Obama did Hope and Change, remember?
Yeah.
And it was wildly successful. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the long run, for sure, offering a positive wins. I think rallying, I think in some sense, a lot of the mega energy, or I don't say MAGA, I say mega.
That's what we said it before anybody else did, Luke. Back in San Francisco in 2015, we were calling it mega. You know what I mean? So
yeah, if it were MAGA, it would have 2 G's.
Yeah, right. Make America great again.
Then it would be MAGA. Yeah. I mean, in some sense, I can concede that like people are rallying against the left when they go to the Trump rallies and stuff like that. But I think the energy there is more for Trump, for the mega agenda, for a positive.
Positive message. Yeah.
But even if people were turning out to vote against Trump, not 12 million more people than who voted for Obama.
Yeah. John Nelson, thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you, brother. But the numbers don't make sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Numbers just don't make sense. Okay. I mean, I've got this Federalist piece here, John Nelson, bullet point number 2, winning despite losing every bellwether county. Okay. This is astonishing, right? Joe Biden lost to even Hillary Clinton's tallies in every county except the ones that contain these 5 major cities: Atlanta, Milwaukee, Philadelphia. What are the others? Phoenix. Maybe not. Detroit.
Maricopa County.
Yeah, Maricopa County. Yeah.
Did you say Vegas?
No, you're right. Vegas. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. Biden trailed Clinton, except in a few cities. We just already detailed that. Biden won despite Democrat losers everywhere else. Astonishing. And John Nelson, it defies logic. And it defies logic that it is very rare for a president to put up more votes in their second term election than in their first term. Okay. It is very rare. Now, it does happen. Okay. It does. Ronald Reagan did in his second term. He put up way more numbers than he did in his first election. Okay. What has never happened until now, John Nelson, most respectfully, is that an incumbent lost after putting up more numbers in their second term election. That is unprecedented. That does not make sense. And I understand that this is statistical argumentation. Okay. There are lies, there are damn lies, and there are statistics. It's true. Okay. However, there comes a point that it makes so little sense that it makes no sense. It just makes no sense. And so that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
For sure, Biden got some people who were excited about voting against Trump. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. All those people already hated Trump in 2016. They already turned out to vote against Trump.
Yes.
Trump was hated long before this election. He was hated in the 2016 election too.
Yeah.
Vehemently hated. All those people already voted against him.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I'm gonna have to stew on that a little bit, man. That's just a great point.
Check out the stream. I just got another good meme, another saucy meme.
Yeah. All right. Damn, that's gonna get us banned, bro.
Is it?
Man, it might.
Well, we're testing the YouTube limits here.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
I just like being able to share the memes with dear listener again. Twitter's been great with the memes lately. Like 4chan has been
4chan is dog shit right now, dude. It's just dog shit. Yeah, it is.
They're just the shills everywhere.
Yeah, it is shilled to hell, man. And I got on 4chan this morning for a minute, and like just I don't have time for 4chan right now. I just don't have time. So
yeah. I get on it. I don't get on it much, but the mega crowd on Twitter has been killing it lately.
Yeah, good, man. I have not been on Twitter. I need to correct that problem, and I've also not created my Parler account, so I've got to fix that too. So
yeah, I keep telling myself I'm going to get on Parler, and I never do.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's so interesting. All the shilling going on about Parler. There was that first thing that George Soros was an investor, which is not true, dear listener. Bongino BTFO'd that argument. Bongino is an investor, right? Then there was the great Parler hack. That was the tale last week. That didn't happen, dear listener. Parler didn't get hacked, okay? And so, like, there seems to be a big tech attempt at taking down Parler right now.
Totally. Yeah.
To be. Yeah. So
what did you think of Trump tweeting about needing to get rid of Section 230, which is the publisher versus platform debate?
Yeah.
And then also Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg had a big hearing with the Senate. Which committee?
Senate Judiciary Committee. It was.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one it was, but I saw Ted Cruz's questioning of Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg. And I'll say this, man, I'm getting really tired of these hearings. They just don't do anything,
Yeah.
It's just this big slap on the wrist. It's like I can see Jack Dorsey like rolling his eyes, going, "Oh, gotta go to another one of those stupid Senate hearings. Clear my calendar on that afternoon," and that's pretty much about it.
Yeah. He clearly didn't seem to be very concerned about being in a Senate hearing, nor did Mark Zuckerberg. I go back to my original argument, which Ben Shapiro stole from me. Okay. I don't like regulation of industry. I don't like it at all. Okay. But there big tech are having their cake and eating it too. And so I go back to, dear listener, what Section 230 is we're preaching to the choir on this. We know that you know, okay? That means that even though you are an online source, right? You are exempt from rules of publication, like libel laws, okay? Slander laws as well. You're exempt because it's a crowdsourced forum, okay? This becomes problematic when you, as Facebook or Twitter or whomever, begin to censor people, because at this point in time, now you are becoming editorial. You are publishing at this point. So you're defying the exemptions which you have legally been given, okay? So, Luke, I return to the argument which Ben Shapiro stole from me. Give every company one chance. All right, you have 30 days. Are you a platform? Are you a publisher? You let us know at the FCC. You let us know what you are, what you want to be, and then we're going to enforce you that way going forward. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you choose platform, dear listener, you cannot censor anything, anybody, any content. You cannot, okay? If you choose publisher, well, then you are subject to slander and libel laws going forward, right? What do you think about it, man? That's the best I can come up with for Section 230. And I've been thinking this for years, man. So I just
I mean, okay, there's the LARP solution, and then there's the realistic solution.
Fair enough.
The LARP solution is remove all regulation to clear the path for new tech startups to enter the space as easily and quickly as possible.
Right.
Because once Twitter starts with the bullshit, I mean, it's like Parler as well, you know? And I don't know Parler. Maybe it's a good platform, but what was the one before Parler that nobody like?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there's another one like BitChute, you know? And it's like, it's just, I mean, there's a reason people still, I mean, look at us. Here we are streaming on YouTube and posting to Twitter and Facebook and stuff. I mean, you know, there's value there, but, you know, just make it as easy as possible for competition to enter the space. What these tech companies want, they want a bunch of regulation because they want they want it to be difficult to enter the space. Like anytime you hear Jeff Bezos going on about the we're going to pay our employees $15 minimum wage, and we'd like to see the government force small businesses and mom and pops to make the same commitment. Well, here's the thing.
Yep.
What's going to happen is those mom and pops can't afford $15 minimum wage. They all go out of business. And unlike Amazon has the money to pour into research and development for automating all those jobs out of existence.
Exactly correct.
So the best thing, like if you want to know what minimum wage is, it is a way to speed up automation. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. And anybody in the automation field is minimum wage is their best friend. Because it just makes their craft, their job of automating jobs out of existence that much more valuable when you increase the minimum wage.
Yep.
There's a direct correlation there. So these companies, they want regulation. They want high minimum wage. They want all this stuff because the small businesses, the mom and pops, they can't afford to weather the storm. So they're trying to gin up a storm. They're trying to create a storm through which the small businesses don't have the resources upon which they can draw to get through. And, you know, we're seeing this with Corona too. You know, the big outlet stores, they have no problems going with this, but, you know, you're seeing all these smaller shops shutter their doors. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they want regulation and they want all this crap. And right now there's some regulation on the books, which they're, as Russ, as you already mentioned, that they're having their cake and they're eating it too. So, as the laws exist on the books today, what is the realistic solution? The realistic solution is enforce the law, which is make them choose. The best solution and the moral solution would be to just remove all the laws as such and just let competition enter as quickly and easily and cheaply as possible.
Yeah. And
people will flee the damn platforms. They'll say to hell with this. I almost wonder if, like, this is a total conspiracy, but I was thinking about this on this week, but I almost wonder if, like, the founder of MySpace, like, wasn't playing ball with regulators, and that's how Facebook got, if there was something behind the scenes there, you know what I mean? If Zuckerberg was like, well, okay, he's not going to play ball, but I will. and somehow, I don't know. I mean, this is a total conspiracy, but I was just thinking about it. I was like, maybe we should all go back to MySpace. Maybe he just wasn't playing ball, and that's why he got kind of buried. You know?
Yeah. It's funny. I've wondered the same. There is a massive conspiracy theory out there that Facebook is CIA created. Now,
No.
maybe, maybe. I doubt it. I'm like you.
No.
So yeah.
Yeah, my entertainment of conspiracy theories has limits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hashtag me too. So yeah.
Is MySpace even still around? I'm gonna look.
Yeah, they exist, but it nobody posts there. It's just it's a ghost town, man. But it does exist. You'll see references to people's MySpace here and there. It's strange. I'm trying to think of the last. It's been more than a year that I saw somebody's live MySpace, but I was trying to find out who somebody was, and they still had a MySpace, and like their photos were there and their posts were still there and all that, like all that was still there.
Yeah, they're still around.
Yeah.
It seems like they're focused on like music.
Yeah. I would say that's correct. So,
because over here in the Discover part, it's like featured music videos, people.
Yeah.
And you're prompted to sign in with Facebook. That is hilarious.
That is crazy. Sign in using your Facebook account. Oh my God. Sign into MySpace using Facebook.
Oh my God. That's rich. That's too good.
It is. And there was another problem with MySpace as well, and it was customization, right? Like everybody has always referred to Facebook regarding the blue lipstick, right? The color of Facebook blue. There are specific cascading style sheet standards, CSS standards for Facebook that MySpace didn't really have, and so it became, Luke, a just a nightmare, So yeah, and it the expense of the maintenance of that had a lot with their downfall. I
didn't know that. Huh. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have CSS standards and you're trying to scale a company like that, that's pretty problematic.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and remember back in the day, every MySpace you would go to would be completely different, and so there's, I suppose, a branding issue as well, right? Because every space looked different from the previous, So were you on MySpace? I never got on MySpace.
Yeah, dude, I was. I mean, I was, I was on MySpace like pretty much from day one, and I had my, remember you could like set music tracks and stuff to it, like, so I had like my music on there and stuff like that. Not my music, but music I listened to and I liked, like Tool and Alice in Chains and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember in my dorm room, Facebook, there's all this chatter about Facebook, and I'm like generally kind of a late adopter about these things. I'm always like really annoyed with new trends.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was when there was one new trend. It was like when it was moving from there was one that was super annoying. I think it was the skinny jean trend.
Yeah, okay.
Because like I rode BMX like in high school. I was like kind of hung out with the skater BMX crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, this is in the late 90s. So I was like rocking the baggy jeans and stuff like this. Not the what was the one that starts with the J, Jinkos. I mean, I wasn't rocking Jinkos, but like, I mean, I was wearing like the baggy, comfortable jeans, and like with the cargo pockets and stuff like this. And then when the skinny jean stuff came out, I was just so annoyed. I was just so annoyed with the whole thing. And then that motivates me to not adopt it. So I'm always like a late adopter. So like when Facebook came out, everybody was joining and I was like, I'm not joining Facebook. What the hell is this? And then like I saw like how many people were on there and like how much was being posted. And then I had this enormous feeling of FOMO, like feel of missing out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I jumped in, and then MySpace died shortly thereafter.
Yeah. I actually was included in the first Facebook public beta. I was included in that. I was working.
Oh, wow.
I was included in that, and just got a random email one day about like, hey, join Facebook. So I did. It was really great in the beginning, and man, I haven't logged on to Facebook in maybe a year, maybe longer than a year, man. Seriously, I just don't, So yeah. But it was fun back in the day. It really was. You had pokes and super pokes and all this kind of stuff. These apps that would run within Facebook, dear listener. It was great fun. It was great fun. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, we're at 1 hour. You want to do an audio break?
Yeah. Let's do it. All right. Dear listener, audio break was tough this week, but hot off the presses, we have President Trump's first interview this morning with Maria Bartiromo. So you cool with that, Luke, with President Trump?
Let's do it, dude.
All right. Dear listener, thank you so much. We are halfway down this 105-mile trek. Luke and I will be back at you before you know it. Meanwhile, enjoy the president.
Hey, really quick, how long is it, Russ?
It's very long. It's she gave the whole show to him. So let's do 10. You want to do 10?
Yeah. I'm going to put it up so people, when they come to the stream, they see that we're on audio break for the next 10 minutes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Very good. Well done, man. Very unboomer. So
that's right, man. We're getting high tech over here.
Yeah, we are. All right. Dear listener, enjoy. Luke and I will be back at you before you know it. Here we go with the president.
When a machine breaks down. Well, no, we had glitches where they moved thousands of votes from my account to Biden's account. And these are glitches. So they're not glitches. They're theft. They're fraud, absolute fraud. And there were many of them, but obviously most of them, tremendous amounts, got by without us catching. We got lucky to catch them. I think we caught 4 or 5 glitches of about 5,000 votes each, and different states. And again, they're not glitches. That was fraud, and they got caught. But for the most part, they got away with it. And what happened, if you watched the election, I was called by the biggest people saying, congratulations, political people. Congratulations, sir, you just won the election. It was 10 o'clock, and you looked at the numbers, and I'm sure you felt that way. This election was over. And then they did dumps. They call them dumps, big, massive dumps in Michigan and Pennsylvania and all over. If you take a look at take a look at just about every state that we're talking about, every swing state that we're talking about, and they did these massive dumps of votes, and all of a sudden I went from winning by a lot to losing by a little. And in some cases, it took a period of time to do it. North Carolina, they couldn't do it. I won North Carolina. They couldn't, somehow they had a better system, but they couldn't do anything. I believe they tried. We have affidavits, but they couldn't do anything with really a great place, North Carolina. We appreciate the incredible work they put in, and we won. But they did tens of thousands of Biden votes. And all of a sudden, I went from, and I could tell you the people that were calling me, congratulating me, people that you know very well, friends of your show, they said it's over. I said, well, I hear bad things about the machines. I hear bad things about corruption. One of your great pollsters who actually got it right, you know the gentleman I'm talking about, he said, well, Trump is going to win Pennsylvania, but you have to allow at least 5% for cheating, because they cheat. Right. And that's in Philadelphia and various areas around Philadelphia. They cheat, and they cheat like crazy. So we have him winning Pennsylvania, but you have to allow 5 points for cheating. This is a terrible thing that's happened. The mail-in ballots are a disaster. They sent millions and millions and millions of mail-in ballots. I'm sure you know people that got 2, 3, or 4, because I do, where they said, we got 4 ballots. They got one at a country home. Dead people were seeing ballots. But even worse, dead people were applying to get a ballot. They were making application to get ballots. Many. And, we're not talking about 10 people. We're talking, there are a lot of dead people that so-called voted in this election. But dead people were, in some cases, in many, many cases, thousands of cases, voted. But also dead people made application to vote. They were dead 10 years, 15 years, and they actually made application. This is total fraud. And how the FBI and Department of Justice, I don't know, maybe they're involved, but how people are allowed to get away from this stuff with this stuff is unbelievable. This election was rigged. This election was a total fraud, and it continues to be as they hide. And the problem we have, we go to judges and people don't want to get involved. The media doesn't even want to cover it. I mean, you're doing something. You're actually very brave because you're doing something. The media doesn't want to talk about it. They know how fraudulent this is. It's no different than Hunter. It's no different than Hunter. They don't want to talk about Hunter. So they totally closed it off, big tech and the media, other than the New York Post, as you remember, which took a lot of heat. It was terminated. It was terminated from, I guess, Twitter, maybe Facebook. But it's a situation the likes of which we don't have freedom of the press in this country. We have suppression by the press. They suppress. You know, you can't have a scandal if nobody reports about it. This is the greatest fraud in the history of our country from an electoral standpoint. And I guess you could build it up bigger than an electrical. What's bigger from a electoral standpoint? What's bigger than this? This is the essence of our country. This is the whole ball game, and they cheated. Joe Biden did not get 80 million votes. Now we were planning. I got 63 million votes 4 years ago and won quite handily in the electoral college. Won quite handily. We did very well. I got 63. We were hoping to get 68 or so, and we felt that was a path to an easy victory. I got 74 million votes, the largest in the history of a sitting president. So much more, many millions of more than anyone thought, than we were even trying to get. And everybody said, this is over. I'm telling you, at 10 o'clock, everybody thought it was over. And then the phony mail-ins started coming in, Maria. But just so you understand, I got 74 million
Sorry
votes.
about that, dear listener.
It was
Sorry
over.
about that.
And then
Get it out,
mail-ins
Mr.
started
President.
happening.
Get it out.
Glitches started happening. This election was rigged. This election is a total fraud.
Mr. President, these are obviously very serious charges, and I want to walk through them and ask you how you will prove this in the court.
Damn, sorry about this. Dear listener, I don't know exactly what's going on. Let me zoom forward here a little bit.
But you've already voted.
Here we go.
Your ballot's in. She said, no, I want to vote on November 3rd. I've been waiting for so long to vote. I'm so proud. I want to vote. They said, your ballot's in. I'm sorry. And that was the story. And she was aggrieved. And you have many people like that, many, many people like that, at a level that nobody would even believe. And that's where it is, Maria. That's one story. By the way, that's one story out of so many different stories. The poll watchers, and this is true with all of the states just about that you're talking about. I think all of them, they weren't allowed to have poll watchers. The Democrats and thugs. Now, I'm not talking about saying, could you please move over? They threw them out of the counting rooms. They weren't allowed to be in. They threw them outside in many cases. You heard the story with the people, they went out and sent for binoculars because they wouldn't allow them to watch. And during that period of time, a lot of bad things happened. Then they closed, as you know, they closed up the voting. And then unexpectedly, they closed up all of the
Dear
counting.
listener, this is important.
Unexpectedly, new ballots came in. And it was all new numbers being added. We have pictures and we have evidence of new ballots being brought into counting rooms. Maria, there's never been anything like this in history. And it all started with the mail-in, but it also goes to Dominion. It goes to a lot of things. But the mail-in, millions and millions of ballots being shipped all over. And ballots, as you know, there were a lot of ballots where it was just Biden on top. They didn't do anything else because they were in a rush. And from what everybody is saying, and from what I don't think we even have to prove this, they say that I was doing so much better than they thought that they panicked and they started just doing ballot after ballot very quickly and just checking the Biden name on top. They didn't have time. So you have all these ballots with just one name check. People don't vote that way. People don't vote that way. They want to vote against taxes and they want to vote for judges, and they want to vote for a lot of other things that you have on a ballot, different races, including Congress. And they were just checked up top. Tremendous numbers of ballots like that. And that was done for the sake of speed. We have stories that are unbelievable, but we're not allowed to put in our proof. They say you don't have standing. I said, I'd like to file to the lawyers.
This also is important, dear listener.
One nice, big, beautiful lawsuit talking about this and many other things with tremendous proof. We have affidavits. We have hundreds and hundreds of affidavits, like the people that you saw the other day in Pennsylvania, willing to sign under penalty of perjury. You go to jail. Willing to.
Dear listener, okay, let me jump in here for a second. This is very important. This is why these lawsuits are being thrown out. They're being thrown out for standards of lack of standing, okay? And the president is making the case about why he does have standing. I go on with the clip. Here we go.
Sign. Unlike Comey, who didn't go to jail for lying, by the way, and McCabe, who didn't go to jail for lying, which is an amazing thing to me. We might as well bring it up. But under perjury, you go to jail. We have hundreds, getting to be thousands. They're coming in all the time. And these are respected people. These are people that are putting their lives at risk. And they don't want to take the affidavits. Then they say we don't have proof. I wanted to file one suit, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, against, and put everything in a one simple suit. And they say, sir, you don't have standing.
Damn it. All right. I'm going to zoom forward. Here we go. Dear listener, back in the saddle.
Justice Alito, highly respected, a great man. Justice Alito seems to have big problems, but the election ended and they gave people an extension to vote. That's never happened before. In other words, the election ended, but we'll give you more time if you want to vote. And what I understand is they didn't think it was good either. So they backdated all these ballots that came in. They had people, and we have affidavits on that too. They had people backdating ballots so that if somebody came in the 4th or 5th or 6th, which was illegal because the legislature didn't approve it, which everything has to be approved by the legislature. And they had judges making deals, and they had electoral officials making deals, like this character in Georgia who's a disaster. And the governor's done nothing. He's done absolutely nothing. I'm ashamed that I endorsed him.
Indeed.
But I look at what's going on. It's so terrible. But what happened in this election, Maria, I can't imagine has ever happened before. They stuffed the ballot boxes. I've been hearing that expression for many years. You have to stuff the ballot. They stuffed the ballot boxes. And they used COVID as a means to stuff the ballot boxes. Joe Biden did not get 16 million more votes than Barack Hussein Obama. He didn't get it. Joe Biden did not get 14 million more votes than Hillary Clinton. And by the way, he didn't beat Obama in the black communities. You go to some of these communities where Obama is very, very popular, and he beats him in some of these communities, but all throughout the rest of the United States, in a black community, he does actually poorly. He doesn't do very well. But he beats Obama in swing states. Now think of that. He beat Obama in swing states. You know that didn't happen. They stuffed the ballot box. Everybody knows that.
This is some of the
Oh, here we go. All right, welcome back to HSP episode number 105. Before we go on, be sure to go follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Zero Gravity Med. You can find me on Twitter at Lucifer Skinner. You can find everything we do, including the Shoe Bros, and possible upcoming writings from John, who I believe is currently listening. So we'll start advertising that. I think Russ, John's gonna. Right before we recorded, he sent me a message about something he had written a while back. So, John, if you're listening, we'll revisit that. And
Good.
Happy to host your content there. And if we both agree that it's what you want to put out, then we'll go help. I'll post it. No problem. So, and you can find future episodes, not the past 5, but future episodes on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, but not Podbean, which is Russ's favorite part.
Yeah, feels good, man. Feels really good.
Right, we're gonna from now on, we're gonna include that in whenever we do our shows, our socials. We're gonna end it with "but not Podbean." You can find us X, Y, and Z, but not on Podbean.
I have no problem with that whatsoever. So, yeah. So Luke, I got to ask you a question. All right.
Yep.
All right. So it goes like this. All right, dear listener, almost immediately after Luke and I hit the black button last week and ended the show for HSP number 104, the Trump legal campaign, in the guise of Jenna Ellis, distanced themselves extremely from Sidney Powell. And I black-pilled hard, okay? I was coat posting with Ross. I was coat posting with Luke, coat posting with Shady Nate.
I didn't know you were posting with Ross about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And Ross had a really good argument about it. It doesn't mean much, essentially, is what Ross said. And I think he's right about that. But I want to know what your thoughts, Luke. What did you think about that?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, let's operate from the premise that, of course, the media is going to take that and run with it. Okay.
Sure.
And blow it up into this huge thing. So let's just get that out of the way. So push that off the table right away. I agree with Ross. It doesn't mean a whole lot. They were doing that for a reason. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that Trump was going to pardon Flynn and Sidney Powell was Flynn's lawyer, and there might be a conflict of interest there.
Yes.
I think also that the Trump team wants to pursue one path and she wants to pursue another path. I think there's something to be said for that. I think it was just, it wasn't a separation. They weren't distancing themselves. I think they were just getting out in front of the Flynn pardon, and it's no more complicated than that. And I think they're still working with her. I think not from a process standpoint, I think not a lot has changed. I think that it's just, they just needed to put that out there. And it was funny to me. I tweeted out earlier this week. I was like, it amazes me how Rudy Giuliani can make some minor little statement on behalf of the Trump team, and then the media immediately grabs onto it and totally twists it into something it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not aware, what we're referring to is last Saturday when the White House put up that Sidney Powell's not associated with the campaign, she doesn't represent them, and like that was it. It was just a statement of fact. It was no sort of that. I mean, that's it.
I quite agree. I wanted that Michael Flynn not guilty verdict, dear listener, but the executive, or rather the executive pardon declared him innocent. This is important. This is very important, right? Mike Flynn knows where all the bodies are buried, dear listener, all of them, okay? And now he can speak, and this is important. In fact, Sidney Powell was not even able to react on Twitter to being distanced from the Trump legal team because her account got killed. And so she spoke through Mike Flynn, okay? So I agree, Luke, this is 4D chess going on right here. It is, right? I think that there is another thing I've thought of. I did not hit my thinking about it properly until Tuesday. I think it's this. Okay. And I've made this argument to dearest listener. I've made it to John and numerous other writers in our presence. Okay. What matters to Donald Trump? Politics or the law? Politics. Okay. What matters to Rudy Giuliani? Politics or the law? Politics. Okay. He's a mayor. What matters to Sidney Powell? Nothing but the law. Nothing. Okay. And Luke, I can't prove it, but I suspect that she has ensnared numerous Republicans in this Dominion voting scheme. and Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis and the president found out that she had that evidence, and she's like, no, I'm going after them too. I'm going after everybody. I'm going after, I'm releasing the Kraken, right? And all of a sudden they were like, holy shit. Okay, if it's going to be like that, we got to distance ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I can't prove it. It's a LARP, dear listener. It's a LARP. I admit that, right? It is the only thing that connects all of the dots, right? That there are Republicans involved in this scheme as well as there are Democrats. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course there would be. Of course there would. So
yeah, I think that's why she put out that statement. She was like, let the chips fall where they may. What that is in reference to is if there's Republicans implicated, and good riddance, purge them from the party. They're part of the problem. Who cares? You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So we will see. The chips will fall. Dear listener, do not doubt this. The chips are going to fall. But this is going to be, okay, the electors in each state are selected on December 10th. This is about 2 weeks, right? This is going to be a rough 2 weeks, dear listener. It's going to be rough. So
yeah,
tight, saddle up.
Dude, it's been a rough couple weeks, man. It's hard not to get blackpilled.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I wanted to ask you just then, or were you finished?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, and while I do this, I'm going to put another funny meme up on the stream.
Okay.
But on basically on a scale of 1 to released, what would you say the Kraken is?
Dude, where's my laptop, bro?
Look at Hillary's face and Kamala's face in the background, and Jim Acosta is the little dog.
Yeah, damn. Huh. On a scale of 1 to 10, the Kraken is released at a 6. There will be other lawsuits. You believe this?
Yeah. I'm beginning to think that the Kraken is not Sidney Powell's singular lawsuit. It's a constellation of lawsuits. Because what's the guy from Pennsylvania? I think it's PA 17 maybe.
Colonel Mastriano? Him?
No. Kind of a young guy. I can't remember his name, but anyways, I mean, he's suing Pennsylvania. They're winning. I mean, lawsuits are just flying left and right.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to think that the Kraken, like each one of the tentacles is a lawsuit, you know?
Agreed.
I don't think it's just Sidney Powell. I think it's a whole bunch of lawsuits that are dropping right now.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more, because Sidney Powell's lawsuit gives bandwidth to other lawsuits coming out. I couldn't agree more, man. And dear listener, I just want to call this into examination. All right. 37 lawsuits have been thrown out for lack of standing. Okay. The president just made the argument in the audio break about how do I not have standing? I'm the president of the United States and I got screwed. He's correct. Okay. Yeah. Dear listener, it is unimaginable that 37 lawsuits would be thrown out for lack of standing. It is unimaginable. And so I return to mine and Luke's premise in 103 and 104. This means that the court system is in on the steal. And this is a problem. And this is why Steve Bannon is pill of colored about all of this. This is why.
But dude, I have a theory, and I don't know. I don't have any. What up, Nate? He's in the chat.
What up, Nate? How's it going, bro?
I don't have any proof of this theory. This is just something I thought of on my own. This is not, I honestly think that when Sidney Powell released the lawsuit with like all of the typos and the spelling errors, I mean, come on, a spelling error in the title.
Yeah.
Asking for them to certify Donald Trump as the winner of this election, which is like a ridiculous ask in a lawsuit, if you ask me. I think they want all of these. They want all of this. They want it to go to the Supreme Court. And, and Rudy Giuliani, like, oh, hey, where's the nearest restaurant? Like, like they know what they're doing. I think they want lack of standing rulings so that they get sent up to the Supreme Court as quickly as possible. Where the Supreme Court will handle all this shit.
Yeah.
Thank God. I feel bad saying this, but thank God we got ACB in there. Because that means that I'm basically glad that what's her face, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, died.
Right. But you don't that way. I know what you mean.
I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying, like, thank God we have at least one institution in the government which I can say with 100% confidence is not corrupted.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, dear listener, refer to episode number 100 and 101. I think ACB will make decisions that we don't like. She seems a little bit cucky on things like red flag laws regarding firearms. Okay. But I believe her when she says she is going to rule on the case presented her. And Luke, this is a hell of a lot of cases at this point. And dear listener, we lost one last night. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court threw out a case for lack of standing. A Trump-appointed judge wrote the decision about it. And so it goes to the Supreme Court.
That's why I say I think that this is on purpose,
Agreed.
I think they're doing all this on purpose.
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed.
They want to get it to the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Get one to the Supreme Court. Get one there. And I said to dearest listener, okay, 2 weeks ago, I guess, I said to her, flood the zone, right? And it's happening, dear listener. And what I meant was flood the zone with lawsuits. Flood the zone, okay? The same way that Biden flooded the zone with ballots. Flood the zone with lawsuits, and it's happening. And I agree with Luke. I see intent here. I see certitude here.
For me, what's important is like it's less important. And I got to thinking, Russ, you asked me a question last week, and I kept trying to draw this like really strong dichotomy between the two.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're going to say. Yeah.
I was thinking about that this week, and I think the spirit of the question is, what's more important to you, Trump being elected or justice happening?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was the spirit of the question, and for me, unequivocally, that's justice. I want to make sure this is a fair election. I want justice to be done, and if that happens, if those two things happen, and Trump is still a loser, fine, I'll accept it. I'm not going to be happy with it. I think it'll be a disaster, but I'll accept it. And that's more important, far more important to me is justice happening than Trump being president. But here's the thing, you can't bifurcate the two either, because if justice happens, Trump will be the president in January.
True. It was an unfair question. It was it was to delineate that point about election justice. That was the purpose. And I still think about it constantly. It's a false dichotomy. The question I asked Luke, dear listener, it's a false dichotomy. Trump won the election, right? It assumes a false premise to ask that question, but it does get to the heart. Luke, I should have used Socratic method on you for that rather than presenting a false dichotomy. I should have done it that way, but it's about what matters, dear listener. And as I said in 104, if we don't have fair elections, why obey the law? Why pay taxes? Why? There's no reason, right? So, but I don't want to get over my skis on that. We'll save that for future parts, dear listeners. So, yeah.
So, what else you got, dude? We're at an hour and a half.
We're at an hour and a half. Okay,
yeah.
We're doing good. Carter Page is suing James Comey, Clapper, Brennan, the usual suspects, for nothing less than $75 million. Super elite, or dear listener, for the cause of false allegation. This is good. And I can't remember the attorney who's representing him, but he's a winner. And yeah. And also the DOJ and the FBI are alleged, and this is good. This is good. He is going to win that lawsuit. And dear listener, as if you don't recall, Carter Page was surveilled and falsely entrapped in the entire Obamagate thing. And that's what he's suing on. And he's going to win. And he announced the lawsuit this week. Carter Page here is hoping you get 75 million, at least $75 million richer. Dear listener, this is also important because it is a lawsuit and there will be discovery in this lawsuit. It's going to take a year and a half, 2 years, right? But it is going to be salient what we learn in this lawsuit. Believe that.
I don't know, man. Like, it depends on who ends up being inaugurated in January.
Well, you're right about that. You're right about that.
Yeah.
It has to be Donald Trump. And man, in the words of Steve Bannon, we're burning daylight here. Yeah, it's true. Right. Time is getting tight, and we're not getting any help from the court system. And yeah, it's going to be a rough 2 weeks, man. It's going to be rough. Yeah. So,
dude, I've been wanting to ask you. I keep forgetting this. Are you familiar with this? It's a small YouTube channel. They only have 3,000 subscribers. It's called Precinct 13.
No.
All right, I'm gonna send this to you. They're basically cataloging like the witness testimonies of and I don't know why this is not a thing. I don't know why it's not more popular. It's just this random YouTube channel called Precinct 13, cataloging the witness testimonies of the Michigan voter fraud, like the actual interviews.
Yeah. I've been cataloging it as well. Dear listener, you believe that? I have. I've got I have 50 articles in my show prep this week just about Michigan voter fraud. Wow. Precinct 13? That's it?
Yeah.
I love it.
I put it in the chat. Did you see it?
Yes, sir. I see it. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully, I'm going to share my screen. This is actually going to be an experiment to see if the audio gets captured too.
Indeed.
I'm going to play this.
Okay, please.
Do you hear this? Hold on.
There it is. There it is. I can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
You might not have it assigned to your cabling, your digital cable.
Yeah, I'll have to figure something out with it. But either way, yeah, dude. And dear listener, the link's in the chat. Go subscribe to this channel because they're cataloging. I mean, they've got, how many do they have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
13. Yeah.
Witness testimonies. And the one, it was Patrick Colbeck. That one was really interesting. He was I believe a former senator or senatorial candidate. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And he talks about how he was like on the phone with somebody, and like within minutes, and like while he was on the phone. Oh, I got whatever you just said. I got an echo now.
Yeah. It was the one you were just playing. It was the 7th in the list. That girl, the blonde.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
But yeah, and he was talking about a white van was outside his home while he was doing a radio interview.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, dude.
Yeah. I saw that too. I know. I didn't see it on Precinct 13. Man, I'm glad you red pilled, dear listener, about this. This is good. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm at 9:32. Tell me if you have an echo.
So we're gonna keep ballot number 25.
Yes, ballot number 25 is John.
Okay.
But yes,
That's
let's
the
go from
issue
there.
ballot. Okay. So what I saw is numerous workers, when the PC would throw the error out and say ballot number 25, and stop at ballot number 25.
I've heard about this.
Has an issue.
Yeah. There are affidavits to this effect. Yeah.
Instead of discarding the entire batch and restarting, they would take the ballots on top of the scanner
and feed it back in,
or the tabulator, and they would put them back in the whole stack. So now we have a batch of 50 again, and they would rescan them.
Yep. Explosive. Totally explosive.
Yeah. All these are like that. This is like these are the people who are going to get called on the stand, and this is what you're going to hear. So you're getting out. If you listen to this stuff, you'll get out in front of what's going to be on the stand.
Yeah. Well done, Luke. I'm impressed by your Google foo that you found this. Thank you.
Dude. Ironically, I think it was YouTube recommended, maybe. I'm not quite sure, but somehow I found this. And I was like, so then I hit subscribe. I was like, I want to know every single video that gets posted here. Yeah.
John Nelson, thanks for keeping us honest. We try not to echo across eternity. You believe this?
Yeah.
So
what else you got, man? Sorry, dear listener. It's like it's a pretty heavy news week, of course, but it's all the same topic. That's all that's happening.
Yeah. There was the assassination of the nuclear chief in Iran.
That's what I was trying to remember. I was trying to think, what is it? And yeah.
That's watch this space, dear listener. That's a big deal. Iran has sworn revenge as of this morning. Dang. The United States did not do it. That's all I'm going to say.
You think Israel did it?
Yeah.
I think it was United States in concert with Israel. I think it was Israel in concert with the United States, I should say, actually.
Okay. Well, I don't know, man. Bibi Netanyahu, when he called Biden to congratulate him on his victory, Donald Trump unfollowed him on Twitter. I know.
Oh, really?
Oh, God. I know. Unfollowing on Twitter. Yeah, he did. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah. It's hard to determine how close Israel and the United States are working right now. To me, I don't know. So, yeah.
I think that. I don't think that. Like, if they're working on something like this, I think that would just be something a totally separate sort of thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like Twitter beef between Benjamin Netanyahu. I mean, because then they assassinated this guy. This was a multi-month, if not multi-year operation.
Indeed.
And so, a Twitter feud between Trump and Netanyahu is not gonna.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And dear listener, it was an elaborate operation when this son of a bitch was taken down. It was there were roadblocks deployed, multiple shooters. It's this kind of thing, and it happened on Iranian soil. It's a weird situation. We don't know much about it yet, but Iran is white hot mad about it, and as expected. And we'll watch this space. So,
yeah.
And I mean, shit, Luke, I have so many articles in the show prep, but it's all election. Yeah. Dear listener, this is the one story, right? And as Luke has said, and as I have said, we see deliberation here, we see intent here, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. It's going to, right?
Yeah.
So sack up, saddle up, So sorry, I don't mean to be gender specific.
Yeah.
So yeah. But it's going to be a wild ride. It is. So, and we are running out of time. Steve Bannon is correct. He's correct. We're running out of time. So we need some help. And so, dear listener, I implore you, regardless of your state, right now, call your representatives and hold their feet to the fire to just be honest. Okay. Hold them to account for selecting the proper electors in your state. And this happens on what, December 8th, 10th, or 14th. I get these confused. I don't know.
Yeah. And I keep hearing like different people keep saying different things. This whole like past 2 weeks has been so difficult to understand what the hell is going on because it's just you just hear different conflicting information constantly.
Yeah. Meanwhile, dear listener, the information which Luke and I have presented to you today is true. All of it is verifiably true. Okay. And we've even backed it up with links this time for once, Luke. Man, now we don't have to put it in the show description. We can put it in the live chat. This is great.
I know, man. I actually really appreciate this format because it's like always such a pain. And it forces me to do a lot of the work that I hate doing after the show, which is like figuring out the hashtags and all that crap. It's like once the show's done, it's done.
Yeah.
We'll need to strip the audio and produce that, but we're gonna figure that out. I think we're gonna have like a real solution to that in the coming days. So
indeed.
We can start posting all the audio. But I really appreciate this. It forces me to do a lot of the work ahead of time. So
yeah. And also, man, you know what I love? I hate to confess this, dear listener, but it's a fact. Okay. Luke and I finished the show in this format and the show is done, right? And mixing the audio, that high quality audio is not there, Luke. And I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss it a lot, right?
But, well, here's the deal. Here's the deal with that. For Christmas, I've asked for an SM57.
Oh.
Yeah. I decided instead of an SM7B, I'm going to go with an SM57 because the microphone, the quality is comparable and it's like 1/3 the price.
Yeah. It's right here, dear listener.
No, that's the SM58.
Oh, you're right. It is the 58. Yeah. The 57. Yeah.
And also like 57 is better for recording instruments. I'd like to record like some guitar playing and stuff like that too.
Oh. Cool.
And it's a sturdy ass mic. I can take it out in the field and like maybe do some infield interviews and stuff.
Definitely. So, dude, you can swing that son of a bitch, slam it up against the wall, beat it, piss on it, and it's still going to work. It's a great microphone.
Sounds like my kind of microphone.
Indeed. Sorry about that, dear listener. Sorry to be vile. So.
But yeah, so I mean, I think my audio quality will go up drastically, and I think I'll just keep this mic as a backup. But I think my audio quality will go up drastically, and as a result, I think that we'll be back up to where we were, because I had to do a heavy bit of treating my vocals with this microphone. Yeah, I got it really dialed in. But your microphone, Russ, is so professional that you don't need to do anything. I honestly, like how you sound now is almost no different than how you sound like on the high fidelity. Yeah, totally.
I'll be damned. Huh.
Yeah. So I think once I get a better microphone, I think our audio quality will be right up there. And then all we need to do then is just get the intro and the outro music integrated into the show, which once we get onto the paid version of this platform, we'll be able to do that.
Indeed.
So, and then at that point, we'll be, I think, dare I say, Russ, we will officially have deboomered.
Yeah, a little bit of practice. And yeah, we'll get there, man.
Yeah, totally. My sister's been watching the whole time, and she said she can't comment on the group thread. Shayna, I think you just need to go to YouTube and just comment in the chat.
Log in,
because maybe you need to be logged in on YouTube, because we've got people in here chatting and keeping us honest.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, Shayna. Thank you very much. So,
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And also, in this new format, we can have guests on the show. So Nate, John, Shayna, anybody listening, like, if you want to be a guest on the show, like even while we're recording the show, if you are like, oh man, I have something to say on that, just like hit us up in the chat and I can get the link. I'm not going to publicly post the link because then I'll just have people like joining the stream.
Yeah, we'll get spammed. Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll get you the link if you want to join the show.
Yeah.
So But yeah, I really enjoy this new format. We hope you enjoy this new format, dear listener. It gives us the ability to interact with you, and it's just yeah. I mean, I don't know how much you enjoy looking at mine and Russ's mugs, but
I don't. I do love your lovely face, Luke. I don't like looking at myself on camera. Maybe I'll get over it over time. I used to hate hearing myself in audio, and I still don't love it. You just get used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I know exactly. I used to hate the sound of my voice. Now I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
My voice changes a lot though. Some days it sounds very like baritone and clear, and then right now it's like tense. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it is, but
you sound good, bro. You sound good. So yeah.
But what else, dude? I mean, we can shitpost here for a minute. I mean, dear listener, I think the content's pretty much done and out of the way. We're at an hour 45, trying to keep it down to like 2 hours, but we got a few minutes here, man. If you want to shitpost on some topic, Russ.
Yeah, sure. I can't really. Well, how was your Thanksgiving, bro? Did y'all celebrate Thanksgiving? Did y'all have a Thanksgiving dinner?
Well, we were gonna celebrate with So normally we have like, first of all, obviously in Germany, nobody here celebrates Thanksgiving. So this is something new. This is actually like a huge advantage to marrying somebody. What's that?
Yeah, sirens. Sorry about that.
That's all good, man.
Yeah.
Usually well, I mean, this is the advantage of marrying somebody who's like from a totally different culture, totally different company, is you inherit each other's holidays. So like your holiday is like double, So she loves the fact that like now we can celebrate all these other holidays like 4th of July and stuff like this. So we normally invite my brother-in-law and his wife and their kid, my in-laws, and of course Jessica and I, and my how do I describe this? It would have been Jessica's aunt, who has now passed away, her husband, and his new wife. Because he's still kind of family,
sure,
even though there's no blood relation there anymore. So they come too, and it's just like, dude, we live in like a 70 square meter flat, which is like, I don't know how many square feet, like a few hundred square feet, like 700-800 square. I don't know. Shit, let me look it up. What?
It's about like that. I just enjoy our precision about detail. That's all. So.
Yeah, I mean, dude, our accuracy. I don't want to negatively impact our accuracy rating. It's 750 square feet.
Yeah.
So I was going to say 800, something like that. So I wasn't too far off.
Yeah.
Actually, I was not off at all. But yeah. Anyways, to host like 10, 12 people and cook for all those people, because like they don't understand that like you have to bring sides and a dessert. So like we cooked everything, and we only have one oven, so we'd have to like cook all the sides and take them all out, then cook the bird, and then put the sides back in the oven when the bird's done while it's resting, and heat them all back up, and then lay them out all across the counter. And like we've got some really like 100-year-old Bauhaus plateware, Bauhaus era plate. It is, dude, gold plated. It's sick.
Yeah.
If you don't know like what the Bauhaus like sort of aesthetic movement was in Germany, dear listener, you should go look it up. Bauhaus. And the first year we did it, we like busted out all this nice silverware, and it was just, dude, I was cleaning for like 4 hours when everyone left. Those dishes you have to hand wash. So the next year we scaled it down a little bit, and then this year I told Jessica, I was like, honestly, I just want to have your parents over. I don't want to fuck with that anymore. Like that's way too much of a pain. And they don't even understand the holiday. They don't understand that like you need to bring sides and that you should stay behind and help clean up. It's not that they're like rude or taking advantage of us. They don't know. You know what I mean?
They're just not American. Yeah.
They think they're just being invited over for dinner for some holiday in America, and then they leave and go home, And so I was kind of like, I was like, let's put an end to that. But then with Corona, we didn't even want to have the in-laws over because we had Corona in the house, and the lady that lives below us had Corona. Still has it. She almost died this weekend, but she's kind of recovering now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She told my mother-in-law that on Friday and Saturday, she was like, I thought I was dying for 2 straight days. And this is on like week 3, I think, since she got it.
It is.
So anyways, so we had Corona in the house, so my in-laws didn't want to come over, so it was just Jessica and I. So we kept it pretty scaled down, pretty simple. It was a lot easier. I enjoyed it a lot more, but now I'm like, okay, in the future, like paper plates, plasticware, you know.
The fine china.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, yeah, it was pretty, and we did it last week because Jessica had stuff to do this week. So and we do like her and I, we have a little tradition where each Sunday leading up to Christmas in December, the Advent Sundays, we make a real nice meal. So tonight we had a really nice dinner. And yeah. So I mean, yeah. Sorry, how about you? What did you do?
Well, my big family gathering got canceled because of the Kung flu, and that was a bitch, man. It was really pill of coloring because I missed my extended family, and there would be about 30 of us that would get together, and so I missed it, and I had Thanksgiving only with my parents, and it was lovely, and we ordered food out, except Luke, my dad smoked the bird, and dude, it was the best turkey I've ever had outside of the Turkey Shack in Abbott, Texas, right? He killed it. He killed it.
How long did he smoke it for?
He started the night before, so I would guess 12 hours. Very low.
Was it tempered or was it juicy?
Yes, it's the juiciest.
That's the thing about turkey, man. It's not I always only ever eat the dark meat. Because like turkey breast is too lean, it's too dry. I just don't like it. We do duck.
Yeah.
But damn, dude, I've never had. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had smoked turkey before.
Yeah, it was good. Oh my god, it was good. Yeah. I still have a lot left, dear listener. You believe this?
Oh, damn.
For days. I'm gonna have to freeze some. Actually, I'm not gonna eat this for days. I have to freeze it.
Freeze it for when we come to Texas in the spring.
Yeah. All right. Done, man.
I would like. Yeah, seriously, I would love to try it. It sounds damn good.
All right. Yeah, it is. And man, my parents have a lot more than I have, and so it was great, man. And then my immediate family, my brother and sister-in-law, we get together the day and my nephew, we get together the day after Christmas and put up the family Christmas tree and decorate the house. And so we did that on Friday, and it was lovely. And then the Aggies beat the hell out of LSU last night, and that was also lovely. But LSU, it was a great game. Kitties, it was great.
I was going to ask about, is LSU supposed to be good still?
They're in a transition year. They lost all of their seniors last year, right? And they're a developing team, and they put up a good game against us. They really did. And LSU, it's always an honor and a privilege to play you. And thank you for letting us into the SEC. I'm just honored. And, really, let's get right down to it. This football season, because of the Kung flu, it's just not a regular season, So
yeah.
But thanks for the win. Kidding. LSU fans, kidding. So, yeah. Man, perfect. 10 of 10. 10 of 10.
That's
just
good, man.
Yeah, not the usual. That's all. Just not the usual. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great, man. I'll look forward to one day, if and when we come back to the States. I miss those celebrating those holidays.
Indeed.
It took me a long time to even like understand, like get that, that feeling you have like when you're a kid, when like Christmas is rolling in. Because I was doing the hard living bachelor life for 10 years. No, not 10 years, from like 2009, 2010 through 2016 is when I came here. And I mean, I was working in hospitality for most of that time. So like, I mean, when you work in hospitality, you work when everyone else is at home, you're the one at work. So you work nights, weekends, holidays. And so I never really celebrated Christmas because what is there to celebrate when you're just by yourself? And I never decorated. I never did anything for years. Yeah. And it took me like a couple of years to kind of like rediscover that feeling after I moved here, because Jessica's real big into decorating, and of course I am too. So I, fully embrace that. But it took a while for me to kind of get back into the okay, holiday season, all right, yeah.
San Francisco does that to you, man.
Oh, dude, totally, man. It just washes all of your. Dude, San Francisco is a wild place. It is a weird place.
Yeah.
It just. I don't know how to describe it. It's when you're living the bachelor life in San Francisco, it's hard to describe.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, it is. I am missing it, Luke. I really am missing it. But
do you?
Yeah.
You guys, is it nostalgia, or do you really genuinely miss it?
It's both, man. It's both. I miss things like the fog, and
oh God, I don't miss that at all.
Yeah, man.
I hated the fog.
I loved it.
I have nostalgia, but I don't miss it. For Texas, I don't have. Okay, so San Francisco, I have nostalgia, but I don't miss it. Texas, I don't have nostalgia, but I do miss it.
Yeah. Listen, I would not go back. I love being in Texas. I cannot even begin to describe how much I love it. And I wouldn't go back, but I just need to get back, man. It's my city, man. As I've said in previous episodes, I had a second coming of age, and man, there are a lot of people I love there, a lot that I've missed terribly, and I want to see them, so that's what it is. I like you said in 104, I need to spend 2 weeks there, man.
Yeah. I need 2 to 3 weeks where I can go to my old haunts and hit up our stomping grounds, go to Dimples, play some dice.
Yeah. We got to do that. We got to go together sometime. We got to do it that way. Yeah.
Totally.
So good. Yeah. So
Nate says you're due to pick up the phone next time I call, Russ.
Yeah. Hey, Nate, sorry about that. It's funny. You called me on Thanksgiving and my phone didn't even ring because I was out at my parents' house and they're in a dead zone, man. Sorry, I've not called you back. Sorry, brother. Sorry. I'm going to call you tonight. As a matter of fact, Shady Nate. Yeah. Sorry about that, bro. So yeah.
I definitely miss San Francisco. But I have nostalgia for San Francisco. I don't know, man. I think that's a good thing. I think when you have nostalgia for a place where you once lived, that means that was a good time in your life.
Yeah.
So if you've got a lot of nostalgia for, I've got nostalgia for Telluride, for example.
Yeah, right. Right.
I've got nostalgia. I mean, I loved Telluride. It was amazing. But it was like San Francisco. Once the time was done, it was done. And I used to in Telluride, I would ride the gondola into town to go party, but there was nowhere to buy beer after 9:00, up in Mountain Village, which is where I lived, which is up on the mountain. It's up on the ski mountain. In fact, I snowboarded to work, which was pretty sick. But so I would go into town, I would buy a 12-pack or a case of beer, and then I would find a snowbank near the gondola, which is how I'd get home. And then I'd bury the beer in a snowbank and then go out to the bars and party. And then when I'm going home, I would dig the beer out of the snowbank and then take it home with me.
Hell yeah.
There was one time where I had one individual beer. And I had buried it in some snow on the sidewalk, right next to the sidewalk. I was there's a little park there, and it was kind of an embankment that was 3 or 4 feet tall. And I had buried a beer in the snow there. And then it had snowed some more. So then you couldn't see that I buried something there. Right. And so I went out to the bar, and me and my friend had met these 2 girls, and I was walking one of the girls home, and we were walking right by that beer that I had buried. And I was just wait a minute, hold on. And she was what?
Tell me this story.
I was hold on 1 second. And I just was jabbed my hand into the snowbank and then pulled this beer out and then just opened it. I was okay. I was I sensed that there was a beer over there. And she just gave me this bizarre look. It was hilarious, dude.
Indeed. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look back on a place with nostalgia, that means you did it right. You had a good time there, and and that's what matters, you know?
Yeah, indeed, man. Indeed.
So,
all right, brother, let's set up camp. What do you say?
Let's do it, dude. We're at 1 minute 59 or 1 hour 59 minutes 28 seconds.
Dear listener, notice our discipline, keeping it to 2 hours, right? which is hard for the HSP boys. It's hard. So yeah, it took some training. It took 105 episodes of training, in fact, and yet here we are. So yes.
Yeah, there were shows that we went for like 4.5 hours.
Yeah, 4.5. Yeah.
Yeah. There and like that's after you cut stuff out. Like so if we put out a 4.5 hour show, like when we were still doing the audio format, if we had put out a 4.5 hour show, that meant that we really were like on the horn recording for like 5.5 to 6 hours.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because like we would shit post for like 30 minutes and get set up, and then we'd talk afterwards. That means we were on the horn for like 6 hours if we put out a 4.5 hour show.
Indeed. Excuse me. Indeed.
And it was still not long enough. Like we still had stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah.
God, those were rough, man.
Those were, man, but they were good. And dear listener, Luke and I are still as impeccably researched as we were back then. Don't you ever doubt that. But we had this compulsion to get everything out, and we kind of let that go over time. Let it go. We kind of over time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so. you have to at a certain point. Not what's the word I'm looking for? Not filter, not prioritize. You have to aggregate. Correctly.
Become thematic. Yes, become thematic in your content. Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, dude, I have one more quick little topic. Just right after we just talked about being disciplined, I've got one more quick topic.
All right.
There is this concept called an accidental American. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Okay. So an accidental American is a term used to describe somebody who has American citizenship but almost no ties to the United States at all.
Well,
so it would be, let's say, a European.
Yeah.
Huh?
Anchor baby.
Anchor baby. Yeah. But an anchor baby that came to America and then left.
Yeah.
So like, let's say a soldier, a military guy is living in Germany, finds a nice German girl, marries her, takes her back to America. They have a kid. Right after that kid is born, they get divorced, and she takes the kid back to Germany. That kid is an American citizen and a German citizen. Even though he came back to Germany when he's 1, doesn't speak English, knows nothing about America, has never met his father. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands of these people all over the world like this. Another example would be an American couple moving overseas, having a kid overseas. That kid gets dual citizenship, and then that kid has kids in that other country, and their kids have dual citizenship, but they don't speak English. Even if they learned English, they would be speaking like with a Portuguese accent or German accent or whatever.
Yeah.
No ties to America. And so you think like, oh, wow, they're super lucky. Like they kind of lucked their way into citizenship. But here's what you don't realize. There's this whole community, and I know this because I joined the Facebook groups, and it's I feel bad for them, but it's almost comical, like how ridiculously like caught up. They are spun into the web of the IRS. So they never lived in America, nothing to do with America. And now the IRS and the American government is passing all these laws, forcing them, this is as of late, forcing them to, forcing the German banks to have, if you're an American citizen, you have to provide your social security number, but they don't even have a social security number. They don't even know what it is.
Yes.
And they find out they're an American citizen, and then they're like 30 years old, only to realize they should have been filing taxes in America also their entire adult lives. So they've got like 12 years of not filing taxes, and they just find this out one day. And you also have to report to the IRS. If you're abroad and you have over $50,000 in an account overseas, you have to report that to the IRS. If you make more than $110,000 a year, you have to pay income tax on that money to the IRS.
Yep.
And so there's this whole community of people who are like persecuted by the IRS living overseas, and all trying to figure out like, they're like, we need to get rid of FATCA. We have to fight to get rid of the FATCA, and we have to fight to get rid of this. And like, they're like fighting the American government, but they don't have anything to do. And it's really expensive and a total bitch to expatriate.
Yeah.
Because the United States government doesn't want all the rich people like moving to St. Kitts and then releasing their citizenship, because then they can just, they can come back and visit. So it's like really hard to get a visa to visit the United States if you've renounced your citizenship. Renouncing your citizenship is extremely expensive and difficult process.
It is.
So there's like this whole community of people who are like being persecuted by the IRS living overseas who can't renounce their citizenship because it's too expensive, but have to jump through all the hoops that the IRS wants them to. It's really bizarre, dude. It's really, and I joined their Facebook group, and it's like, they're like super active on it. Just random people, some Portuguese person posting about this and some German posting about that. And we got to fight the FATCA, we need to get that repealed. And they're all like Trump supporters too, because Trump was
absolutely, they are. They would have to be. Yes.
They were talking about how when Trump wanted to through executive order reverse the anchor baby, like the naturalization, what not naturalization, but what is it, birth by citizenship by birth?
Birth tourism, that thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, he was going to pass an executive
citizenship. And they're man, that was in the docket for last week. They are maybe going to make an executive order to that effect soon.
Yeah. Well, they're all like celebrating that.
Yeah.
Because that means that all their citizenships are null and void. They don't have to renounce.
Yeah.
So they're like, yes, reverse the natural born citizenship.
Well, accidental Americans worldwide, just know that if Joe Biden is inaugurated on January 20th, this is going to be on steroids. You believe this. They're going to come for you. So.
Totally.
Yeah. So. Fascinating.
It's insane. You cannot, the IRS has made it such that you cannot escape their clutches.
Yeah.
If you're an American citizen.
They have. Yeah. Swedish bank accounts are null and void now. They have to report to the IRS.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
You used to be able to go to Hong Kong or the Cayman Islands, but now all the banks do. They've used their club to force all the banks all around the world to have to report to them who has money, what their names, what their personal information is, and how much money they have there.
Fact. Thanks, Obama. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah. That was under Obama.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
We were going to incorporate zero gravity media in the Cayman Islands. I don't know if it's even worth it anymore, Russ.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that it is either. We'll go to Joe Biden's home state of Delaware and do it there. So
I'm still bullish on Puerto Rico.
All right.
Although if Biden gets in office and they get the Senate, you can rest assured that Puerto Rico is a state in the next 4 years.
Yeah, that's right. For sure.
This enrages me so much, dude. All these idiots. There's even some girl that I'm Facebook friends with who lives in Puerto Rico. And she's like, Puerto Ricans they are being denied the right to vote for president. No,
you're not.
You're not being denied the right to vote for the president. You don't have a right to vote for president because you're not saddled with $30 trillion in debt.
Exactly. Yes.
And you don't pay federal income taxes. You have a nice, sweet little 15% flat tax rate.
Yeah.
Like, they have no idea how much damage they are causing themselves to become a state. They should stay as far away from the U.S. as possible right now.
Yeah, well.
Because they get all the benefits of our military. Somebody invades Puerto Rico, you can be rest assured, like, we're coming to their defense, so they get all the benefits, and they're not on the hook for any of our debt, and they're not on the hook for any of our taxation.
Yep, that's right.
So, like, and you're bitching because you want to vote for. Is that really worth it? Really? Yeah.
I mean, my stance on this. I am full on cut Puerto Rico off, cut them off. But that's just me. So.
Oh, and another thing that this reminded me of that I've seen the left coming out on, and this is the thing with the left, man. They get lockstep on stuff, and the right doesn't do this. They're coming out in support of forgiving student loans. I have a Twitter list that's actually called it's my Twitter list is actually just called shitlibs. And so like in my feed, I'll just see like AOC pop up, and then a little thing above it is tweets from shitlibs. And it's like all of them are like AOC, like all of them, Joe Biden, they're all lockstep. We owe it to the people to forgive student loans and blah blah blah. Like, dude, that is the first, like, amnesty for illegals. And student loans. Those are the first two things that are going to happen if Biden gets sworn in and they get the Senate.
And tear down the wall. These are, you're right. That will happen in 6 months. I promise you. And really, this Georgia election is so crucial, dear listener. And the left are already cooking the books on the Georgia election of Kelly Loeffler, who I don't love a whole bunch. She's a criminal. I don't like her. Okay. And David Perdue, who's a good man and a good senator, right? They're already immigrating people into Georgia to vote.
I saw this.
They already are, and
which is illegal.
It is, but they're getting away with it because these cucks in the Republican Party, including Kemp, the governor of Georgia, are doing nothing about it. They're doing nothing. So,
Well, let's call it here, man.
All right. You want to run us through my socials?
Yeah, sure. So, dear listener, you can find me on Twitter at Luke for Skinner. You can find Russ on Twitter at RussZGM. You can find everything we do, zero-gravity-media.com. If you want to send us feedback, send it to contact@zero-gravity-media.com. You can get all of our audio on, not Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud.
TuneIn.
And TuneIn. And you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Zero Gravity Med, and you can find us on YouTube. Just search Zero Gravity Media.
Indeed. Well done. And dear listener, I'm still pissed off about this. We're on Google Play as well, but we've just never been searchable. So whatever. So we never solved that, but we'll solve it. Someday. We'll solve it. We're actually on Google now because we're on YouTube. So there you have it. So,
yeah, true.
All right. Well, dear listener, we have made it all the way down this 105-mile trail. Thank you so much for riding along with us. We hope you enjoyed it as much as Luke and I did. Luke and I are going to be back at you before you know it, on time, under budget, next week for episode number 106. And meanwhile, Luke, you take care of yourself. Let's talk for a minute, brother. Let's talk.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
All right. Be in touch, man.
All right, sounds good.
Late.